what is your full name?
Dorthaan Kirk. Did you get that? Dorthaan.
How did you get your start at WBGO?
That's a really wonderful, wonderful story. As you know, I was married to a musician, and he died December 5th, 1977. He had several friends that were in radio or someplace in the media, and there was a special young man in Boston by the name of Steve Robinson. He worked for WBGO. They did a project together which was called Radio Free Rahsaan. So he became very, very close to us. After Rahsaan died, Steve still kept in touch with me, and one of the questions he had for me was, well, what are you going to do now that Rahsaan is dead? So I said to him, well, Steve, it's too early. I haven't even thought about it. And so he said to me, I know this guy who lives in Newark who is starting a radio station. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. What's that got to do with me? And so he said, I should tell him to hire you. And I said, Steve, and keep in mind, the person I'm talking to is an incredible idea person, and we're still close friends to today. And I said to him, Steve, that's just ridiculous. The only thing I know about radio is just to go to it and turn it on and listen to it. He said, well, this radio station hasn't started. It's going to be a jazz radio station, and you have something to offer them. So of course I said, yeah, like what? He said, well, you know all the musicians, you know all of the record company people, and various other people in the industry. And he said, you would be an asset for a startup jazz radio station. He said, I'm going to ask him. I said, okay, if you think it'll work, whatever. Long story short, he called up Bob Odenhoff, and he's the founder of WBGO. There's a picture of me with Steve over here. And this is that's Bob, the person who is the founder of WBGO. He said he was going to call him. He did call him. Steve came down from Boston one weekend with a couple of other friends. We met Bob Odenhoff at a club here in Newark that's long defunct, Sparky J's. We all met there. We listened to music. We got in a car. We went to New York to listen to more music at the Village Vanguard. And during the course of the evening, I talked to Bob, and he explained to me what he was doing and his projected date that different things would happen, and that he would call me. So one October night, I'm sitting in my room, 1978, I'm sitting in my room on a Sunday night, and he called me and asked me when could I come and see him. And of course I said, whenever you want me to, because I'm not doing anything. And he said, okay. So I went up to Central High School, where the station was located at the time, and I met with him. And after that, I started. So I should tell you, WBGO once belonged to the Newark Board of Education, and it was still physically located on the 4th floor of Central High School when I started, even though the license had already been transferred from Newark Board of Education to Newark Public Radio, Inc., which is our corporate name. We moved into this building January of 1979, upstairs. Nothing was downstairs. And that started my career in radio. I started out working 4 times a day, and I was the receptionist. At that time, we had an administrative assistant or assistant to the GM, because we used the term general manager then, not president and CEO as we are today. So it was him, his administrative assistant, myself, the music director, an engineer, and an operations person. Those were the first people that moved into this building.
How would you say WBGO has evolved over the years?
Oh boy, we went from really zero, nothing. When we moved in here, we had no letterhead, we had no furniture, we had zero, but we had a building, and we had a grant, and we had great people who were interested in creating a great jazz radio station.
So what would you say, what does it take to be successful in this career?
That's a very difficult question for me, because I didn't choose this. It chose me, and my success has been because of the growth of WBGO, because I was here from the very beginning, and as WBGO grew, I grew and my responsibilities grew. So I'm not really a good one to really answer that. But I think for anything, persistence is one of the keys to a lot of things. Yeah.